everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Now, you know that this is a 4-day session on Excel VBA, right? Now, before we begin the training program, I'd like to have some introduction from your side, like your name, nature of the work, department in which you're working, and what you're expecting from the particular training program. Fine. I'll just call out the names. You can just tell me about yourself and introduce yourself. Yes, first will be Rekha. Rekha, can you just introduce yourself and your expectations?
Am I
Okay.
audible?
Yeah. Yeah,
Hello.
you are audible. Yeah, you are audible.
So my name is Rekha Biradar. So I am a qualified chartered accountant, and I have an experience of overall 6+ years. And I'm
Hmm.
working in a hedge fund financial industry, part of financial reporting team.
Okay. What are you expecting from this particular training?
So I wanted to learn the macro codings because I'm working in a department wherein we are still into the pilot batch, like a migration phase, where we are getting new clients and we are getting new work. So we wanted a better template in place which can standardize our work. So which is why I
Hmm.
wanted to learn macros.
Okay. Sujata?
Hi, this is Sujata, and I'm working in Excel. Recently only joined, and I
Hmm.
have around 13 years experience in the BPO and KPO industry, and I'm working in the MIS team. I have good exposure in Excel, but still I am
Hmm.
unable to do some macros. I'm stuck here and there
Hmm.
because I had a career gap around 3 years, and so the touch has been gone, and I
Hmm.
think I have forgot everything. That's
Okay.
the thing. So I want to resume myself to the groove. And moreover, my expectation now is I need to cope up with the team now. Here I am
Hmm.
working for a banking process. It's a Bank of
Okay.
Ireland.
Hmm.
There,
Hmm.
the most of the reports are they expect me to automate everything. What are all they
Okay.
are doing? So the maximum is filtering and taking count, removing duplication, consolidation.
Hmm.
This is the most of the work. So
Okay.
apart from this, once this has been completed, my goal is getting to Power BI. So before
Okay.
that, I
Hmm.
want to
Hmm.
strengthen. Though I have done some recorded macro and have something done, but that is long before.
Right, right,
Now
right.
it is something. Everything
Hmm.
is new to me now. So
Okay,
I
fine.
want to be up to date.
Hmm.
That's the thing. And the industry, the department is expecting me more. So I
Right.
expect you to help me in that stream.
Okay. Don't you will be starting with the basics and gradually move on to the advanced functionalities of macros. Okay.
Okay then. Okay then.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Abhishek?
Yes. Hello, sir. Good
Hi.
morning. My name is Abhishek Kharote,
Hmm.
and I'm working in Cotivity, and I have 6 years of experience in healthcare industry. And
Okay.
I'm gradually trying to move into analytics because currently I'm working in support projects which is in data mining and analytics and all. So I'm
Hmm.
also trying my hand in going into data science, data analytics,
Hmm.
and because of the support projects, the interest of mine in Excel, VBA, Power BI, Tableau, and all it has increased, and that's the reason I came to know about the data science, data analytics part.
Hmm.
So currently I'm pursuing that also. So this will
Okay.
be a great opportunity for me to understand the things because I want to automate many things in my kitty, which is currently in the support project.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
thank you, sir.
Sindhu, can you just introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Sindhu Nair. I come from a financial background. I'm into financial reporting. I'm basically working in private equity and hedge funds, and I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to understand the VBA language more because when you use
Hmm.
the record option, most of it is automatically generated. And if
Right.
I know and understand the language better, I'll be probably able to, code something which is more advanced and it will save
Hmm.
my time and automate my process.
Right, right. Thank you. Ronit, you are next.
Hi there, this is Ronit. Hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Great. So I'm also from financial reporting, and so I really get fascinated with macros. So I've been learning something on Udemy, but the
Mm-hmm.
basic is not that clear there. So I want to clear it up.
Okay,
Learn
fine.
more about the basic. Thanks.
And did you learn about the coding part also in Udemy?
Bit I did, but I'm a bit confused.
Mm.
So I hope I get it
Mhm.
cleared.
Okay, fine. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Next is Komal.
Hi, I'm Komal, and my reason for wanting to join VBA and macros is to get into automation to reduce the daily time taken
Mm-hmm.
for my working, and I want to be able to manage large files easily.
Okay.
And my background is taxation.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, next is Saket.
Hey, hi, this is Saket Mishra. So, overall, around I have 10 plus years of experience, and I also worked in currently working in investment banking on the financial reporting and group controlling side, basically. And
Okay.
we regularly deal with a lot of Excel, lot of repetitive tasks. So probably I thought it's a good opportunity when world is also moving to the digital finance side.
Right.
So, because I also come from a chartered accountancy background, so finance is already aware. So why not just mix the tech finance role, and if it can bring the efficiency into any of the process where I work or I support. So probably the reason for learning this VBA coding specifically because we do apply a lot of macros and some sort of automation in our work, but those kind of conceptually not understood. Probably sometimes it's okay, this is happening this way, right? I sometimes I record macro myself and go into the VBA window to understand the code, but those are kind of trial and error, I would say, rather than conceptually understanding the logics and all. And being non-technical, it's a really tough. So I thought to just give a try, and
Sure.
why can't I can be kind of learning this, and that's the reason, basically, I would say. Sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So let us start VBA.
Sure.
Now the file that you have received, there is a file called as Excel VBA, right? Just open that. Getting this sheet, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now, you all know about filters, right? How to apply the filters, how to apply filter on a database. How do you apply a filter? What is the keyboard shortcut?
Alt DFF.
Alt DFF.
Alt DFF or Control Shift L, Alt 80, right? Apply a filter. Now I want all of you to display sales records. How do you display sales records? Just click on the drop down of department. Either you can type in sales or you can also check it, right? So when I type sales, I get all the sales records. And here you can see there are 18 of 100 records found, right? Now, if I want to find sales east records, I click on region and type east. So I get sales east record. Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
Now, I want all of you to display all sales records as well as all east records. I'll repeat the question again. I want all of you to display all sales plus all east. All sales means sales east, sales west, sales north, sales south, as well as all east means finance east, marketing east, CCD east, all sales records plus all east records. Can you try this?
All sales means sales and region wise, all region, right?
Correct,
Or,
correct, correct.
Okay.
As well as all east records. All east records means the departments can be anything, but all east records. Finance east, marketing east, CCD east, R&D east.
So it just
All-
with the help of filter, you mean, in Excel?
Right. With the help of filter, without making any changes to the original database, without any helper columns.
So it will be same like as you did on the screen, basically, right?
No. See, this is displaying sales east records. In sales, only the east records. Now what I want is, I want all sales. All sales means 18 records.
Okay.
As well as all east records. All east means admin east, marketing east, finance east, personal east. So all east records plus all sales records, both.
Okay.
So that should give me 34 records. 16 of east and 18 of sales. That should give me 34 records.
First task I catched up and I could filter sales in department and all region it is coming. The second task that you are saying is for all region, for only east region, it has to display all the departments, right?
Correct, perfect, yes. But both should be
displayed
in the same filter, yeah.
The same filter.
Nobody's getting it? Okay, if you're not getting this, try this. Can you display all the records where the salary is between 10K to 20K? Can this be done?
Yes, customer.
That can be done, right? You can go to the salary column, then number filters between and give the range here, right?
Yes.
Now, I want you to display all the records where the salary is between 10K to 20K, as well as between, say, 30K to 50K, both.
Yes, I think again we can do with conditional filter. There are two conditions that we have.
Or we can select and.
How will you select and? In salary, you are saying, right?
Yeah.
If I go to salary number filters between, you can specify only one range here, either between 10K to 20K or between 30K to 50K. But both are not possible. You can have only one range here.
Okay.
Nice. Likewise, I can display sales east records, but if I want to display all sales plus all east, it is not possible. When I display sales east record, is it a AND function or a OR function? In sales, only the east records. Is it a AND or a OR? It is an AND function. See here. In sales. Okay. In sales, you have east, north, south, west. But in sales, I want only the east record. So that is an AND function. Department should be sales and region should be east. But when I say display all sales plus all east, it is a OR function. Okay. So in normal filters, AND function between the columns or between the fields can easily be done, but a OR function between the columns or between the fields cannot be done. OR functionality between the fields cannot be done. Likewise, I can display all the records where the salary is between 10K to 20K or between 30K to 50K, but both at the same time cannot be done. Okay. So when you have conditions like this, your normal filter fails. When I say salary between 10,000 to 20,000, is it an AND function or a OR function? Salary between 10,000 to 20,000. It is an AND function. Whenever you want to check for a value in a numerical range, it will be always a AND function. Okay. So let us see how this can be overcome. So when you have conditions like this, you can use something called as advanced filters or conditional filters. Okay. So let us see how to do that. For that, select the sheet called as filters. Now we are going to look at something called as advanced filters. So in advanced filters, you should have a separate area called as criteria. Okay. This can be in the same sheet or it can be in a different sheet. It can be in a different workbook also. Now, first my condition was that I want to see all the records where the department is sales or region is east. So when you give the conditions in different rows, it will be considered as a OR. So this tells Excel that show all the records where the department is sales as well as region is east. So like this, you can give any number of conditions. If I type here Calcutta, so this means display all the records where the department is sales, all the region is east, all the branches Calcutta. Okay. So like this, you can specify any number of conditions. Different rows means OR, same row means AND. So if I type it like this, so this means what? Show all the records where the department is sales and region is east, which is already possible using your normal filters, but the OR functionality is not possible. Now you can just watch on the screen first, understand it, then you can try it on your own. So I'll write these conditions on different rows. Keep my cell anywhere inside the main database. And to apply advanced filters, I'll click on Data, in Data, Advanced Filters. The moment I click on Advanced Filters, it will display a window like this, where it is asking for the list range. Now the list range will be the main database. If your cell is already inside the main database, in the list range, the range will be automatically selected, or else you need to select it manually. And then it is asking for the criteria range. In the criteria range, I need to select the conditions. So here my conditions are from D5 to E7. When you select the criteria, you need to include the headers also. Okay, including the header, criteria will be D5 to E7. And the moment I click on OK, it will filter to the records. Now, you can see here on the bottom, it is showing 34 of 100 records. So the database has been filtered. Now, if I want to cross check whether it is showing me all the records, all the cells, as well as all the each records, what I'll do is I'll select any cell in the department column and click on Data Z2A. Z2A means it is going to sort the database in descending. So here you can see all sales records. And after I get all the sales records, I get all the east records also. Which is not possible using your normal filters. Now I can do it along with me. I'll explain it once again. Select the filter sheet. This structure has been already created for you. Okay. Keep your cell anywhere inside the main database. Then to apply advanced filters, click on Data, Advanced. When you click on Advanced, you should get a window like this. In the list range, make sure that the entire database is selected. In my case, it is from A11 to H111. In the criteria range, if you have any criteria, make it blank. And select the criteria from the top, including the headers, D5 to E7. Then click on OK. First, we check whether we are getting 34 records. Getting 34 records, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now, select any cell in the department column. In data, click on that Z to A. Z to A means descending. So since you are selected the cell in department, it will sort the database department-wise in a descending order. So when I say descending, all the cells will come on the top. Then if you scroll down, after all the sales records are displayed, you can see each record. Okay. So the first question is solved. We are getting all sales as well as all each record. Now the second question was, I want to see all the records where the salary is between 10K to 20K as well as 30K to 50. Right? So if I want to see all the records between 10K to 20K, it is an AND functionality. And in advanced filters, how do you use AND functionality? On the same row, right? So what I'll write here is greater than or equal to 10,000. And in the next column, I'll write less than or equal to 20,000. So since this is in the same row, it will be considered as a AND. And what about the next condition? I'll write it on the next row. So this means show all the records where the salary is between 10K to 20K as well as between 30K to 50K. Now my criteria range is going to be this H5 to I7. Okay. So keep your cell again anywhere inside the main database. Advanced. Now you need to change only the criteria range. So criteria range will be this H5 to I7. Click on OK. And you should be getting 74 of 100 records. Even here we can check whether we are getting all the records according to the conditions. Select any cell in the salary column, click on Z to A. So I get one record, that is 49,000. Others are between 10K to 20K. Getting this, everyone?
Yes.
Now, what if I select the criteria like this? This will give me what?
This will give sales for 10 to 20K.
Perfect. Very good. So let us see what we get. We'll go to advanced filters.
Sir, one
Now
second. The previous one, how many records you said? 74?
74, yeah.
Somehow I got 26, not sure.
I think you must have applied a filter in the department also. The earlier filter that might not be cleared.
So before applying the filter, we have to clear the department also. Okay.
What you can do is just go to data and click on this clear. There is a clear option near the filter button. Just click on that clear. All the records will be displayed again.
Okay.
Now you apply the same conditions.
So basically selecting H5 till I6,
I7.
right?
I7.
I7, yeah. And then okay. Somehow again 26.
Just salary would be 15,000.
Yeah, change it to 20K.
I6.
Okay. For us, it is 15,000. Correct.
Okay, you are written 10 to 15, yeah?
Yes. For us,
okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that will be 20, right?
Yes, now it's coming correct.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, now it's 74.
74. Now we'll select the range that is from department sales and the salary between 10K to 20K. Okay. So keep your cell anywhere inside the main database. Advanced. Now my range is going to be D5 to I6. D5 to I6. Click on OK. Now you should be getting 15 records. Okay. Is this clear, everyone? Advanced filters.
Yeah, so this is basically saying that sales department having salary
between
greater than
10K to between 10K to 20.
Okay, yeah.
How much records?
15.
I'm getting
15. 15.
I'm getting only 7. I cleared the previous filters also. Still, I'm getting only 7 records. But the range is 10 to 15 only. That is okay. And sales department is equal to sales also. The criteria has
20. 10 to 20.
You are given the salary as between 10 to 15 or 10 to 20.
Okay then.
Now just watch on the screen, everyone. Suppose I want to display only the admin records using advanced filters. Okay. What I'll do is I'll change the department here. I'll make it admin under the department. Then keep my cell anywhere inside the main database. Click on data, advanced. The list range is going to remain same. The criteria will be department and the condition. So in my case, D5 to D6. And the moment I click on OK, it should display all the admin records, right? So you can see there are 10 records. Fine. Now, suppose I change the department here. I make it R&D. Now, if I press enter, will it display all R&D records?
No, sir.
It won't. Correct. It won't, because the moment I press enter, it will not automatically display all the records. I need to go to advanced filters again and then just click on OK, because the ranges are going to remain same. And just click on OK, only then it will be refreshed. So advanced filters is not dynamic. Okay, but this can be made dynamic by the help of macros. Okay, so when we learn the macros recording, we'll see how this can be made dynamic. But is the concept clear, everyone? Advanced filters?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now we'll see one more feature before we go on to the actual macros. There is something called as subtotals. We have a feature called as subtotals, as well as a function called as subtotals. Right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know about the feature called as subtotals?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, what about others?
In data, subtotal will be available. The last outline.
Correct. You are aware about that?
Yes.
Okay. So for this, select the main data, the sheet called as main data. Now I want you to display the subtotals for all the departments. I want you to generate the subtotals, which will display department-wise sum of salary. Can you try this, everyone? Generate subtotals, which will give me department-wise sum of salary. Display department-wise sum of salary.
Done, sir.
Okay. So how do you do that? First, you need to sort on the department. Then you go to subtotal, add a change in TEPT. Make sure salary is checked. Click on OK. Right? Now, you can see here that when the department is changing, you are getting the sum of salary paid to that particular department. And if you scroll down, you also get the grand total. Now, can I display only the department-wise total? I don't want all the details. I want to display only the department-wise total. How will you display only the department-wise total? Or is it possible?
Summary below data, if we uncheck.
No, summary below data is we are getting this R&D total. That is a summary. We are getting the grand total. That is a summary. Okay. Now, can you see there is a name box on the left hand side, left top?
Yes, sir.
Below the name box, you will see some numbers 1, 2, 3. These are called as the outline numbers. If I click on one will display only the grand total. 2 will display department-wise total. And 3 will again give me all the records. Okay. Now, when I click on 2, that is outline number 2, you can see only the department-wise totals here. And you'll also see some plus signs on the left-hand side. Okay. Now, suppose I want to see only the details of the finance department. I click on this plus sign and only the details of finance will be displayed.
Correct.
So plus will always expand, minus will always collapse. Now, I want to copy only this department-wise total on a new sheet. So what I do is I say Control C, is a new sheet and paste it. But when I paste it, you can see that it is pasting all the data, even the data that is in the hidden rows and columns. So how do I get only this data?
Visible cell.
Will perfect, very good. So select the data. How will you select the visible cells? One
Alt
method is
semicolon.
perfect. One method is you press Control G, special, and select visible cells. Okay, that is one method using the menu. Or like you said, Alt semicolon, then Control C, then paste it. So what does the Alt semicolon do? It will copy only the visible cells. That means the data in hidden rows and hidden columns, it will not be selected and pasted. Okay. To remove the subtotals, keep your cell anywhere in the main database. Then you go to data, subtotal, and then click on remove all. On the bottom, you have this remove all option. Fine. Now, I want all of you to insert a blank sheet. How will you insert a blank sheet?
Alt IW.
Alt IW, or you click on this plus sign, or you press Shift F11. For doing the same thing in Excel, we have multiple options, multiple ways. Now you all know that Excel is a spreadsheet. It is called as a spreadsheet or a worksheet. That means it is divided into number of rows and columns, right? Now, how many rows and columns do you think is in Excel sheet? How many rows,
lakh,
how many columns?
10 lakh 400 something. 500.
Okay. And what about number of columns?
Columns 10 lakh 400. Rows, I don't know. Rows.
Okay. Let us check it out. When you're in a blank sheet,
rows, yeah.
press Control and down arrow. When you're in a blank sheet, press Control and down arrow. Control and down arrow will take you to the last row. So here you can see there are 10 lakhs 48,576 rows. Okay. When I press Control and down arrow, it takes me to the last row. Likewise, how do you go to the last column? Control right arrow. But like you can see the row numbers, the column numbers are not visible. Right? Suppose I want to see how many columns are there. Select any cell in the last column and you type equals column, open and close bracket. Equals column, open and close bracket will give me the column number of that particular column. Since you're in the last column, this should give the number of the last one. So you have 16,384 columns. So each Excel sheet has 10,48,576 rows and 16,384 columns, right? Fine.
So what formulas are used? Equal to column?
Equal to column,
bracket.
open and close bracket. Equals column, open and close bracket. Open and close bracket means it doesn't take any arguments. It will take the active column as the argument. Okay. Now I typed this equal to column in C column. So it is giving me it as 3, right? That is the third column. Okay. Now you know that there are many functions in Excel, more than 400 functions. If you look at Office 365 or 2019. When you have these many functions, you have functions, say logical functions, functions for conditional calculations, functions, date functions, statistical functions, financial functions. So when you have so many functions, what is the need of macros? Why do you need macros? So macros are mainly used to automate repetitive tasks. Okay, for example, here we saw that to generate the subtotal, we need to sort the database first. Then you go to data, subtotal, edit change in department. Then you generate the subtotals. Then to copy only the department wise total, we need to press Alt semicolon, then copy and paste it. Now this is a repeated process, right? Suppose I want to generate the subtotals on a weekly basis or maybe a monthly basis. I need to do the same steps again and again. So instead of doing the same steps again and again, what we can do is we can record those steps. Once you record the steps, and if I want to do the same steps again, I just need to press a shortcut key, or I can assign that particular repetition of the steps to a button. And when I click on the button, automatically all the steps that I have recorded will run automatically one by one. And this is called as macros. So macros are mainly used to automate your repetitive tasks.
So, but macros will be saved in other Excel also, or it will be saved only in one Excel sheet?
No. Whenever you record any macro, that will be saved in the current file.
Current file, yeah.
Okay, that is embedded inside. Okay, it is not saved as a separate file.
Yes,
that is why to run the macro, you should have your Excel open.
Okay.
Okay, it is embedded inside the Excel sheet itself.
So, but many times it happened like when I automated the thing using the macros, when I paste the new data, like once I've used the data and I'm pasting here and there in the same Excel sheet, it's okay. It is getting pasted in the same like as a text. But when I'm pasting the data from outside and I'm even clearing it, the answer is not coming the same. Like it differs if you are getting the things pasted from outside.
See, one thing is that your data should be clean before you run the macro on that. Second thing is the format should be same.
Okay.
If the format is not same, then it is going to mess up the data.
Okay.
Okay. The sheet name doesn't make any difference. We can make it as active sheet, but the format should remain same.
Okay. Okay.
We'll see that also how to overcome that. So macros are mainly used to automate repetitive tasks. Macros can be either recorded or you can also write a macro. When you record a macro on the background, some programming statements are automatically generated, which are in a language called as Visual Basic or VB. Okay. Now, all the things, all the functionalities that you can do in Excel can be recorded. Okay, but it is better to go for the coding part because when you record a macro, you don't have a control over the process. Even if you do a false step, even that will be recorded in the macro. And let us say you are recording a macro for changing the orientation of the page. Now that is only one step, right? You go to page layout and select the orientation that you want. But this small step is going to generate hundreds of lines. So even if you do a small step, that is going to generate many lines of data. Okay? So you don't have a control over the recording part. So it is better to go for the coding part. In a coding part, you know the flow, you have better control over the programming. So, but first we'll go for the recording part. Once we understand how the recording works, then we'll go for the coding part in depth. Fine.
So one question in this. When I has to, so for example, there are 16 steps to perform to clean and properly format the data when I has to work. So in that 16 step, the 14th step, for example, 13th step was VLOOKUP. When I was applying the VLOOKUP, somehow this the process is to get stopped, like it was to stop recording or something is to go mistake. So the steps are limited, you mean to say, like for
no. There is no limitation. There is no limit.
Okay. Okay.
But I think what was the number of line items that you had in your database?
20,000 around. 20,000.
You should work because up to say 1 lakh or 2 lakhs, Excel works very normally. But the moment the number of data increases, line item increases, it becomes a little bit slow. But that should not make any difference to the as far as macros is concerned. But I think there must be some process that is going in the background, which made maybe taking more time in the memory or consuming more RAM. That is why it was getting stuck. But otherwise, it should work fine.
Because MS team, I have also connected with the MS team regarding that. But that VLOOKUP step, they also didn't understand why the VLOOKUP step was getting disturbed with the formatting. So that's the reason I thought, is there any complicated steps if you do the macros won't record?
No. How are you using the VLOOKUP? You are recording the VLOOKUP function, or you are writing the functionality when you are recording the macro, right?
Yes.
Then it should work.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see an example of that also. Just remind me when we do the functions.
Yes,
we'll do that also. Right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So you can just watch on the screen first. I'll show you a simple macro recording. Okay. Now, when you record a macro, you should be very careful because, as I told you earlier, even a fault step will be recorded. So when you're recording a macro, suppose you accidentally delete some data, then what will happen? When you run the macro, the data will get deleted. Okay. So you should be very careful when you're recording a macro. Now, I want to record a macro which will display a letterhead. And the letterhead should be displayed in the A1 cell. So the macro should come here. And the letterhead should have some formattings. It should be bold. It should have a specific size. It should be in the center. And it should have a border. It should have a font color. It should have a fill color. Now, after say 6 months or 1 year, I might forget the formattings. So what I'll do is I'll store all these formattings in a single key. And when I press that single key, all these formattings will run one by one automatically. Okay.
Sakit, so can you mute? Yeah, Sakit. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll first delete this. I want the macro to be displayed always in A1. So I'll keep my cell there. And to record a macro, again, there are multiple methods. One method is you click on View, the View tab. When you click on the View tab, on the extreme right-hand side, you have called as macros with a drop-down. In macros, you click on Record Macro. The moment you click on Record Macro, you will get a window like this, where it is asking for the macro name, shortcut keys, and the description. That is one method. Or on the bottom, where you have the sheet names, where you can see ready. Next to ready, you have an icon here. Even that can be used to record a macro. If you're not getting this particular icon, you can just right click on the tab here, the taskbar, and you'll get an option called as macro recording. Okay, even that can be clicked. Now, if I click on that, it is going to display the same window. Okay, you can use either method. So I'll click on macros, record macro. It is asking for the macro name. Now, whenever you name a macro, there are some rules to be followed. The macro names cannot have a space. If you want to give 2 words for a macro, you can use the underscore, but no space is allowed. Then no function name. You can't name a macro as VLOOKUP because we already have a function called as VLOOKUP in Excel. Okay, so no function name. Macro names should not begin with a numerical value. You can have a number in between that, but it should not begin with a numerical value. Okay. So these are some rules that you need to follow. It cannot have a space, no function name. Name should not begin with a numerical value. Okay. I'll copy and paste it in the chat.
Function name, you means like
we can't have a name like VLOOKUP or subtotal like that.
Got it.
Okay. So I'll keep my cell on A1. Click on record macro, give a name here, say letterhead. Then it is asking for the shortcut key. Now, almost all the shortcuts with a control, it is already defined in Excel. Now, suppose I give the shortcut as Control A, then it will overwrite the shortcut of your Excel application, but only for this particular workbook, not all the workbooks, only for the current workbook. So Control A is normally used to select all the text, right? So, but if I give the Control A as a shortcut key for the macro, and if I press Control A, that is going to run the macro instead of selecting all the text. So your shortcut key for a macro should be always a combination of Control and Shift. Now, suppose I want to give the shortcut key as Control Shift A. Since Control is already present here, I'll just press Shift A and the shortcut becomes Control Shift A. You don't have to press Control again because the control is already there in the macro window. Now, if I click on OK, what all steps I do will be recorded in the macro. Once I record all the steps, I need to stop the recording. Once I stop the recording, after that, if I want to run the macro, I'll just press Control Shift A and all the steps that are recorded will run automatically. The concept is clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Fine. Now, the moment I click on OK, the record will start. So first I'll click on A1. Then I'll type some text here. Then I'll apply some formatting. Now all these steps are getting recorded in the macro. I'll make it bold. Increase the font size. Select a font color, a fill color. Once I do all the formattings, I need to stop the recording. So for that, either I can click on this bottom here on that icon, or I can also go to View, Macros, Stop Recording. Okay. Now this macro has already run on this particular sheet. Now suppose I want to check whether the macro will run in a different sheet. I'll insert a sheet first and Control Shift A. And you'll see that it has automatically run that particular macro. I can also do it in a new workbook also. But if you're going to run the same macro on a new workbook, you should make sure that the workbook on which you have recorded the macro is open. Now, if I say Control N, this will open a new workbook. I can run the same macro here, provided I have that workbook where I have recorded the macro open. Okay. So if I press Control Shift A, it should run the macro here also in a new workbook also. Okay. Now I'll do it once again. You can also do it along with me. Then we'll go and see how this macro can be edited. Okay. So insert a blank sheet, everyone. Select the cell A1. Then to record a macro, click on View, Macros, record macro. Give any name here. Don't give any space. Then a shortcut. Click on OK. Now, before you type anything, click on A1. Just click on A1. Type any text.
To give shortcut key, Control Shift. We need to press.
If you want to give the shortcut key as Control Shift L, just press Shift L. Don't press Control. Hello.
That you entered is not valid.
You are not audible. Hello.
The name when I press Shift L, the error message is popping up. The name that you entered is not space as I have given. Okay. Okay.
No space. No space.
No space.
You can give an underscore, but no space.
Okay.
Click on OK. First, you click on A1. Type any text. And apply all the formatting that you want. Merge and center it. Make it bold. Increase the size. If you want, you can also change the font style. Once you apply all the formattings, you need to stop the recording. For stopping the recording, again you go to View, Macros, and then click on Stop Recording. To run the macro on a new sheet, insert a blank sheet, and apply and press the shortcut key. Working fine, everyone?
Yes.
Now, I told you earlier that whenever you record a macro, on the background, some programming statements are automatically generated. Now, suppose I want to see the programming statements. Again, you have multiple methods. One method is you right click on any sheet and select View Code. Okay, right click on any sheet name and select View Code. That is one method. Or you click on View tab, Macros, View Macros. When you click on View Macros, we'll get a window like this, which will display all the macros that has been either recorded or written. So here you can see that I had recorded 2 macros. So I'm getting 2 macros in the list. Select the macro whose statement you want to see and click on Edit. Okay, so I selected letterhead and I will click on Edit. The moment I click on Edit, you'll see a interface like this. This particular interface is called as a Visual Basic Editor, VBE. Now the VBE has 3 main windows. Just watch on the screen first, understand it. It has 3 main windows. The window that you see on the left top, that is called as a Project Explorer. The window that you see on the left bottom, that is called as the Properties window. And the bigger window that you see on the right hand side, where you can see all the statements, that is called as the Code window. So you have 3 windows. Project Explorer, then properties window, and you have your code window. Okay, there are other windows also. So you'll see those windows also when we go to the session. There is something called as watch window. Then you have immediate window. Okay, these are the, you can say, additional windows, but these are the three main windows: Project Explorer, properties windows, and code window. Now, sometimes when you go to the Visual Basic Editor, sometimes you might see a gray screen like this. Okay. Now, suppose you want to display the windows. What you do is you click on View. In View, Project Explorer. Okay. Now, in the Project Explorer, you can see it will display all the sheet names, all the sheet names that is present in the workbook. Also, we'll see there is a folder called as modules. Whenever you record a macro, it will be stored in different modules. And all these modules will be stored in a folder called as module. So you can see module 1. Tomorrow, when you record a macro, it might come as module 2, module 3, module 4. So there can be multiple modules. Suppose I want to see the programming statement of any one module. You select that module and double click it. The moment you double click it, all the statements will be displayed in this right hand side window, which is called as a code window. Okay, so we have Project Explorer and the code window. Now to display the properties window, again you can go to View and then click on Properties window. You can also resize it. Now I'll be looking at this properties window more in detail when we cover the topic of user forms. Right now it is not that much important. So when you select any object like sheet, you can see all the properties of that particular object here. Okay. So in the code window, you can see some statements. These statements are in a language called as Visual Basic. Now, let us see this program in some detail. First, what you get is the name of the program. Sub, SUB. That stands for subroutine. Subroutine is a collection of programming statements. Okay, so you have the short word sub, and then you have the macro name, letterhead. It does not take any argument, so we have given a open and close bracket. Then you have the keyboard shortcut here, Control Shift A. Then when I selected the cell A1, this particular statement has come, range A1 dot select. Then I typed this particular string. Then I merged it. So this particular statement has come, selection dot merge. Now you'll see all that I selected only this range A1, then active cell Excel4all. Then I selected the cell A1 to F1, but I did not do any center. I did not wrap the text. I did not give an indent level, but you'll see that all these statements are automatically being generated. So whenever you record a macro, these statements will be automatically generated. Now, even if I delete this, it won't make any difference. Okay. Then I selected and merged it. So this particular statement has come. Then I made it bold, change the size. Even though I did not do any strike through superscript, it has automatically thrown all these statements. So these are the extra statements which is generated whenever you record it. Then if I go down, then I wrote this particular statement. So every step that I did has been converted into a programming statement. Now tomorrow, suppose my boss says the letter size should be 24. So what I can do is I can come to the size statement. Instead of 20, I can make it 24. And now if I run the macro, it is going to give me the size of 24. So you can also record a macro and customize it. Okay, but you should have a knowledge of Visual Basic. You can't randomly go anywhere and make the changes. Now if I press Control Shift A, it should give me the size as 24. So we can also record a macro and customize it. Okay. This much is clear, everyone?
Yes, yes.
Now,
Yes.
now, whenever you have any macros recorded or written, it has to be stored as a, it has to be saved as a macro enabled workbook. The extension of a normal Excel sheet is dot .slsx, right? But when you save it as a macro enabled workbook, it becomes dot .xlsm. You need to save it as a XLSM worksheet, or else all the macro that you have recorded or written will be lost. So before we continue further, we will save this file as a macro enabled workbook. So for that, come back to the Excel sheet. Now, how do you come back to the Excel sheet? Suppose you are in Visual Basic Editor. One method is you just close the Visual Basic window, VBA editor, and you will be back in Excel sheet. Or you can also press Alt F11. If you press Alt F11, we'll be back in Excel sheet. Again, you press Alt F11, you will go back to the Visual Basic Editor. So Alt F11 is a toggle. A toggle between the Visual Basic Editor and your Excel sheet. Okay. So come back to the Excel sheet, go to File, Save As, and save it as a macro enabled workbook. If you have created a folder, you can save it inside. So here in the Save As type, click on the drop down and select the second option, Excel macro enabled workbook. Then click on save. You can give the name, same name. Save it as a macro enabled workbook. Now close it and open that folder where you have saved it. Okay, save the file as a macro enabled workbook. Close that file, come back to the folder or the location where you have saved it. Now you will notice there are two files with the same name. Okay, but how will you know which is a macro enabled one? If you look at the type, it will show you that is a macro enabled one. That is one method. Or if you display it in icons, anything with the exclamation mark is a macro enabled workbook. So here you can see I have this Excel VBA with the exclamation mark. That is a macro enabled one. Okay. From now on, we'll be working on this macro enabled one. Even after you have saved it as a macro enabled workbook, sometimes the macros will not run. Because I told you earlier that macros can be destructive also. So Excel has an inbuilt feature which prevents all the macros from running. You must have noticed that when you try to run a macro, it will give a notification saying that do you want to enable the content or do you want to enable the macros? And unless you click on OK, yes, the macros will not run. Okay. But suppose I want to run all the macros without any notifications. There is a setting that we need to change. Now just check on your systems whether you are getting a developer tab. Next to the view, are you getting a developer tab? Just check everyone. On your Excel interface, are you getting a developer tab?
Yes, sir.
Everyone is getting the developer tab?
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't have it? Sujata, Rekha, Sindhu.
I can see.
Okay. If you don't have the developer tab, to display it, what you do is you right click on any of the tab and select customize ribbon. Okay, right click on any tab, customize ribbon. And on the right hand side, you need to check the option called as developer. Okay, and then the developer tab will be displayed in the top. Click on the developer tab. Click on the developer tab. And on the left hand side, you have option called as macro security. Click on macro security. And you should make sure that it is enable VBA macros. By default, it will be disable VBA with notification. That is why you are getting that notification. When you try to run any macros, we'll get a notification saying that do you want to enable the macros. For our training purpose, we'll be making it as
So can
enable
you tell
VBA.
how to enable the developer tab again?
Just right click on any tab, right click, customize ribbon.
Okay.
When you click on customize ribbon, we'll go like this. Here on the right hand side, check developer. Then click on OK. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Now you click on developer. Click on the developer tab. On the extreme right hand side, macro security. And in macro security, enable VBA macros. Select that and click on OK. Then save the file, Control S. Now you can press Control S because we have already saved it as a macro enabled notebook. Save it, close it, and again reopen it. Only then all the macros will be activated. Save it, close it, again reopen it. Now we have seen a simple macro, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to record a macro on a database. Okay. So select the main data, the sheet called as main data. Now see how we can record a macro on a actual database. Hi Jay.
Hi, sir.
Hi. We have already started the session. What you can do is we are recording this session. Okay. So what we have covered till now can go to the recording. Are you aware about the recording part in macros?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, fine. So we are doing the recording part. Fine. Then we'll go for the recording part. And what we have covered till now, you can just watch on the recording of this particular session. Fine.
Yeah, fine. Sorry.
You must have received some files, right? Excel, VBA training file, something like that.
Yes, I have.
You just save it on the desktop. You are working on those files. You unzip it and save it in a folder.
Okay.
And open the file called as Excel VBA.
Okay, Excel VBA.
Once open, just tell me.
Yeah, opened.
Now, first thing you do is you save it as a macro enabled workbook. You click on File, Save As.
Okay.
You save it as macro enabled workbook. Click on the drop down of Save As type, the second option from the top.
From
if you
the
don't
drop
save
down.
it, in the drop down, second option, Excel macro enabled workbook. If you don't save it as a macro enabled workbook, all the macros that you are recorded will be lost. So save it as a macro enabled workbook. Click on Save. Then
It's actually not showing me that option in save as this. It's just locations and this PC adder place browse that.
no, File, Save As. You click on Browse and select the folder.
Okay, it's like file.
File,
Then
save as.
save as.
Save as. You can browse. Click on Browse.
Okay.
Where have you saved that folder?
Okay, I got it. Excel macro enabled workbook. Okay.
Enabled workbook. Correct.
Okay.
Save it.
Yeah, saved it.
Now, one more thing is that, can you see a developer tab on your system?
No.
So what you do is, to display the developer tab, right click on any tab.
Okay.
Customize ribbon.
Okay.
You're getting an interface like this.
Yeah.
On the right hand side, check developer.
Okay.
Click on OK. You see one more tab called as developer.
Yeah, seeing it now.
Click on the developer tab. Click on the developer tab.
Yeah.
And on the left hand side, there is option called as macro security.
Yeah.
Select macro security and make sure that the fourth option is selected. Enable VBA macros.
Okay.
Click on OK. Click on OK. Save the file again. Control S. Close it. Save the file. Close it. And again, reopen it. Only then all the macros will be activated.
Okay.
Make sure that you open that macro enabled workbook. Okay?
Yeah.
Now you select the sheet called as main data.
Yeah, it's already selected.
Now what we'll do is we'll record a macro for generating the subtotals. Okay. After that, when you select the shortcut, the subtotals will be automatically generated. If you want, you can just do it along with me, or you can watch on the screen and then you can do it. So first, what I'll do is, now whenever you record a macro, it is always recommended that you do the steps manually, write down the steps, and follow the same steps when you're recording a macro. So before we record a macro for generating the subtotals, what we'll do is we'll write down the steps. Okay. So what is the first step? You need to start the recording. Okay, these are the steps for generating the subtotals. Once you start the recording, you sort the database on department, because we are going to generate department wise sum of salary. Then select data tab, subtotals. So that will display the subtotal window. Then select add change in DEPT. Make sure salary is selected. Then click OK. So this will generate the subtotals. Now we need to display only the department-wise total. So select outline number 2. Then select the data. Press Alt semicolon. This is select only the visible cells. Copy the data. Insert a blank sheet. And then paste. Even the process of removing the subtotals can be recorded in the map. So select main data, then remove subtotals, then stop the recording. So these many steps are required to generate the macro for subtotals. Okay. If you can just watch on the screen first. Now you will notice that in my case, the database is already sorted. Even then, when you're recording a macro, you should sort the database, because tomorrow it might happen that you'll be getting a data which is not sorted, your raw data. At that time, when you run the macro, you should automatically sort the database, then generate the subtotals. So even a small step should be recorded in the macro. Okay. So I'll keep my cell anywhere in the main database. First, I'll go to View, Macros, Record Macro. I'll give a name here, say Reports. You can give any name and a shortcut key, say Control-Shift-S. Click on OK. Now the recording has started. First, I'll sort on the department. So I'll go to Sort by department. Click on OK. Then Subtotal. Add a change in DEPT. Make sure the function is sum and the salary is checked. Click on OK. So this will generate the subtotals. Now I need to click on the outline number 2. Click on D1 where I have the department. And for selecting the entire database, I'm going to use the keyboard combination Control-Shift, down arrow, right arrow. Okay, don't drag it, because the moment you drag it, the range will be hard coded. The range will be hard coded in the program. Okay, so tomorrow if your range changes and if the range is hard coded, it will only pick up that particular range. So always press Control-Shift, down arrow, right arrow, then Alt semicolon. So the visible cells are selected. Control-C to copy it. Shift F11 to insert a new sheet. Control-V to paste. Then you can also adjust it. Come back to the main data. Select any cell in the database. Then you go to Subtotal, Removal, and then stop the recording. Again, go to View, Macros, stop recording. Okay. Now, when I record on the macro, I had inserted a sheet and pasted it. So I will delete this. Now tomorrow, suppose my boss says, send me the report. So I just need to come to the main data and press the shortcut, that is Control-Shift-S, and you see that automatically it has generated the subtotal formula. So you don't have to do the same steps again and again. It will automatically generate the
So what was the debug window which we got just now?
You want to try this? I just need to check that. I think I must have done a wrong step something. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I removed the subtotals, I went to sheet 1 and then deleted it. I think even that was captured in the macro. And since I deleted that particular sheet, it is not finding it, so it was generating error. So what I'll do is I'll remove this main data, then this I'll remove. I forgot to stop the recording. Okay, now you should not give me any error. Let me just check. Control Shift S. Okay. Fine. You want to try this, everyone? You want me to show it once again, or you can do it on your own?
So one last time you can just show, so we can just do it next time.
So I'll do it. You can also do it along with me.
Yeah.
Select the main data. Select the main data. Keep a cell anywhere inside the main data.
So toggle will also capture.
Pardon?
If we toggle from one sheet to another, like we're toggling from Excel sheet to Teams, will it?
No. If you are doing it, no. If you are doing it in Excel sheet, if you are going to move to a different Excel sheet, that will be captured. But if you are going to a different application, it will not be captured.
Okay.
It will work only inside the framework of your Excel, not any external application. Yeah.
Okay.
So select any cell in the main data. Then to record a macro, either you can click on View, Macros, Record Macro, or you can also click on this icon that is at the bottom. Give any name. And a shortcut key. I have given the shortcut key as Control Shift R. Click on OK. Now the recording has started. First, we need to sort the database. So click on Data and click on the Sort button. Do not click on that A to Z or Z to A, that icon A to A or Z, because when you click on the Sort button, you should make sure that this particular option is checked. My data is headers. Sometimes this will get unchecked. If it is unchecked, and if you click on that A to Z, it will consider even the header as a record, and that will be sorted in between the database. So always when you are recording a macro, always select the sort button. Click on the sort button. Make sure my data as headers are checked. Then click on sort by. Select department. Click on OK. Then data subtotal. You don't have to select the entire database. Whenever you click on subtotal, by default, it will select the database for you. Make sure it is added change in DPT. Function is sum. And then salary is checked. Then click on OK. This much is clear, everyone?
Yes.
Now you click on the outline number 2, that is below the name box. So only the department-wise totals are displayed. Click on D1. Control Shift, down arrow, right arrow. Then Alt semicolon. Alt semicolon to select the visible cells. Control C to copy. Shift F11 to insert a blank sheet. And then paste it. Control V. Then come back to the main data. Select any cell inside the database. Just click anywhere. Then go to Subtotal. Remove all. And then stop the recording. View. Macros. Stop recording. Now you can delete the other sheet which was generated when you recorded the macro, because every time you run the macro, new sheets will get inserted. Okay. Now come back to the main data. Keep your cell anywhere inside the database and then run the shortcut. And the macro should run.
Yes, it worked.
Working fine for everyone?
Yeah.
Now go to the Visual Basic Editor. How will you go to the Visual Basic Editor? Alt F11. Now should either see the subtotal macro in the same module, or see one more module called as module 2. Okay. There is no hard and fast rule that it should come in the same module. It can come in a different module also. If you want to go to that subtotal macro directly, instead of scrolling through every module, you can also go to View Macros, select the module and click on Edit. This will directly take you to that particular program. Okay. Now you should get some report like this. Active workbook worksheets main data dot sort add to key range D2 to D1. That means we are in the main data sheet. We are telling Excel that sort on this particular field, that is department. Then sort on Excel values, order is ascending. These are the options of sort. After that, with active workbook, set range. Okay, set range is A1 to H101. That is your database range. Then does it have a header? Yes. So this header equal to XLS will come only if that particular option is checked. My data is headers. Then selection dot subtotal group by 4. Group by 4 means what? We had sorted on the department, and department is the 4th column in the database. So it is coming group by 4. And then function is sum. We have a total of 8 columns, that is array 8. And then this is the subtotal that is getting generated. So this will generate the subtotals. And you can see the row level is equal to 2. When you click on that outline number 2, this particular statement is generated. Active sheet outline, show levels, row levels equal to 2. Then I clicked on D1. And when you press Control Shift down arrow, right arrow, this is a statement that is getting generated. Selection dot end Excel down. Then when you press Alt semicolon, this particular statement is getting generated. Special cells. Then you copy it, add a sheet. Okay. When you press Shift F11, it will add a sheet. Then you are pasting it. Then I made that entire column auto fit. Then We come back to the main data, remove the subtotals, and of course, here it is saving the file also. Okay. Now, tomorrow suppose that data changes. Right now it is up to A1 to H101. Tomorrow suppose it has become H200. Then if I run the subtotal directly, it is going to capture only the range that is up to H101. So if I wanted to capture the data up to H200, one method is I can make this value 200. Okay, this way it will capture the data also. But every time the range changes, I don't want to come to this Visual Basic Editor and change the range. What I want to do is the macro should automatically capture the data, even if the range changes, even if it becomes less or more, it should automatically capture the entire range. So what I'll do is instead of typing it as A1 to H200, I'll make it A to H. A to H means select the data up to 10,48,576. So no matter tomorrow how much the range changes, this particular range will select the whole data. Okay. Now I'll save the file. What I'll do is come back to the main data. Now what I'll do is I'll select this range and paste it below the first table. So now I have 200 records. Now when I run this macro, it should give me double of this. Okay, I think it was 35,000 something, 825. Or I'll take the sum of first 100 records. $15 lakhs, 53,825. Now, when I run the subtotal, it should give me double of that 15 lakhs, right? So Control Shift S, I think. Here you can see 31 lakhs, 7,650. Just make a small change here. Instead of A1 to H101, make it A to H. All other things will remain same. Okay. Getting this, everyone?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Now,
Sir,
okay.
Yeah.
just one question. Sometimes suppose we select suppose one cell range, right? Like in previous example where we have applied this alt semicolon, right, for the visible cell. So will it be get selected always? Suppose if we don't, deselect it. We did this when we again went back to subtotal and remove all. But suppose if we just want to, deselect whatever cell, suppose two cells be selected and we just want to, we copied it and we don't want to, kind of deselect or unselect, then how that
escape.
that
Just
portion
press escape. Just press escape.
Escape, and that will how that will get recorded there.
Then you will get a statement called as application cut copy mode equal to false. The moment you press escape, that particular statement will come. Application dot cut copy mode equal to false.
Okay.
You're telling about that subtotal, right? When you press alt semicolon, you are getting that dotted lines. To remove the dotted lines, just press escape.
Yeah. And the statement which you were explaining, that application cut copy mode false, that was there already. So I just would like to, connect the dots that probably it got deselected. That's why that statement came.
Correct.
Okay.
Now I have 200 records. Now how will I remove the duplicate records? If I sort it on the employee code, you will see that just sometime back I had copied the same data again, right? So I have employee code 1 2 times, 2 2 times, 3 2 times. So how will I remove these duplicates? You go to data, remove duplicates. Next to that text columns, you have remove duplicates. So we'll get a window like this. Just click on OK. It will say 100 duplicate values were found and removed, and 100 unique values remain. Okay. Now, this subtotal is going to generate department-wise sum of salary always. Now, I want you to make changes in the code so that it will give me region-wise subtotals instead of department-wise subtotals. I want you to make changes in the code so that it will give me region-wise subtotals. When I run the subtotal, you should give me region-wise subtotals. Can you try this, everyone?
So
you just need to make some
A to H, which you did instead of 101. It got only the column of H column. Am I right?
No. A to H means from A up to H 10,48,576. You don't write A1. If you write A1, it will capture only up to A1 to H 10,48. It should be A to H.
Okay. And is there anything that 200 we have to paste back again the 200 data?
No, that is just to show you that. No, that is just to show you that whether it is capturing the new records also.
Okay.
Even if you
so
don't do it,
this we need to. Okay.
Just to check, just to cross check whether you are getting whether it's taking the new records.
After doing this, we need to save it and close it and then open.
No.
After doing this H1 at 101, after removing 101 and doing putting only A and H, we need to save it and close the Excel sheet and again open it. Am I right?
No. You just click on save, because see the reason why you need to save after you do any step or edit any statements is because if you directly run it, the program might have errors, and any changes done by the macro, you can't undo it. So it is always a safe practice, that after you make changes to the code, you save it, then you run the macro. Okay.
Yes.
So I want all of you to make changes so that the macro will give me region-wise subtotals.
Sir, I did. It's a group by should be 5, right?
Correct. Group by should be 5, and the sorting should be E2 to E101, not D2, because we need to sort on the region first. E2 to E101. Range will remain same. Selection dot subtotal group by, that will be 5 because region is the 5th column. Array will remain 8. Instead of range D1, it will be E1 because we need to select from the region column. Then selection and will remain same. All other things will remain same.
So
wherever
only,
we have
so only range and group by is getting changed, right?
Yeah, range. Wherever you have a D, you need to make it E. जहाँ पे भी D है उसको E बना दो. Then save it, Control S. Come back to the Excel sheet. Make sure your cell is inside the database. Now when I press Control Shift S, that is my shortcut. It should give me region-wise subtotals.
Yes, sir, it's working.
Working fine for everyone?
Yeah, and sir, one thing, suppose this is the macro, this is this VBA coding window, right? Suppose if we have done any change, and if we just press Control S, so this code will get saved?
Because this code is embedded inside your Excel application.
Okay.
So when
if we don't change anything, then also it will get embedded, or we need to save it?
No, even if you don't, if you make any changes, then you need to press Control S to save the changes. Otherwise, also it will save. It will be embedded in the Excel sheet.
Okay.
Because this is a part of your Excel application. It is not a separate program or a separate file. It is getting saved inside Excel. So even if you save Excel, this VBA code will be saved along with that. So you can press Control S either in a Visual Basic Editor or press Control S in the Excel interface also. Even if you make the changes in the Visual Basic Editor and you come back to the Excel sheet and you press Control S, that code is automatically going to be saved.
And suppose the first previous example where we have sorted data as per department wise, and in this case we have done as per region wise, right? But suppose I need one in one workbook and the same thing in another workbook. So probably then what is the best way? Shall I just copy the code and enter there
copy the code and make the changes? Correct. So you can have two subroutines. One which will give me department wise sum of salary, and one more subroutine which will give me the region wise subtotals. Only thing is, yeah, tell me.
So
and it should have different shortcuts. It should have different shortcuts. You can't have the same shortcut for two macros.
Okay. And I can paste it. I can paste it one by one below if I want in a same workbook. Or if I want in altogether separate workbook.
See, I told you about modules, right? Yeah, module can have any number of subroutines. There is no limitation. Okay. And every subroutine begins with the word sub, SUB. And if you go to the end, you will see that you have something called as end sub. End sub means it is the end of that particular program. Okay. Now, if I press Control A, see it, Control C, and paste it below, we'll see that I have one more subroutine. Okay. With the same name. But if I run it now, it will give me error. Ambiguous name detected, because you can't have two subroutines with the same name. So what I can do is I can make this as, say, DPT reports, and the earlier one I can make it as region wise reports, REG reports, something like this. Okay. And I need to change the shortcut key also, because you can't have the same shortcut for two macros. Now let us say when I press Control Shift S, I want this region wise reports to run, but I can't have the same shortcut for the department report. So what you need to do is you come back to the Excel sheet, go to View, Macros, View Macros, and then select DPT reports. I want to change the shortcut for this. Select it, click on Options. In Options, you can change the shortcut here. So I'll make it Shift, let us say D. So Control Shift D means department wise report. Control Shift S means region wise reports. Okay. Then I need to make some changes in this department wise. I need to make it D2, because I had copied it. It will take the same statements of region. Then this will be group by 4, and then this will be D1. Okay. Now when I press Control Shift D, it should give me department wise report. When I press Control Shift S, it should give me region wise report. Control Shift D, you can see it has given me department wise. Then Control Shift S will give me region wise.
But both are in different sheets, right? If
Yeah,
you want
different
one below the other.
Then in that case, you need to select the sheet, then come to this particular point and then paste it. Okay, we'll see that also when we do the later in the program. How to select a sheet and paste the data one below the other. Okay, we'll see that also.
Okay.
So this much is clear, everyone?
Yes,
any
sir.
doubts, any difficulties? All clear?
And similarly, in other workbook, I can just copy and just copy this code to other workbook, and it should run.
Yeah,
right?
it will work. Only thing is that sheet should be called as main data, and even the format should remain same. Format in the sense the department should be in the 4th column, region should be in the 5th column. Now tomorrow suppose I have a new data. I can just copy paste that new data on this. And automatically, when you run the subtotal, it will pick up the new data. That can be done. Only thing is that the sheet name should be main and the format should be main.
Okay.
Then it should work. So we'll save the file. We'll take a short break, 15 minutes. Okay? It is almost 12 o'clock. So we'll resume again at 12:15.
Okay, sure.
Save the file. We'll take a short break. Hi, hello. Is everyone back?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So before the break, we had seen how to record a macro for generating the subtotals, right? Now let's see one more recording part. Select the filter sheet where we have the advanced filters. Now we are seeing that the advanced filters are not dynamic, right? Suppose I have displayed R&D records, and if I change the department, then automatically the advanced filters will not take place. So let us see how this can be made dynamic with the help of macros. Sujata, can you go on mute, please? Yeah.
Pardon, sir?
Can you go on mute?
Mute. Okay.
Thank you. So we'll see how this recording of the macros can be done for advanced filters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record a macro for advanced filters, and I'm going to assign that macro to a button so that when I click on the button, the filtering will automatically take place. Okay. What you can do is you can just watch on the screen first, understand how it is done, then you can try it on your own. So first I'll keep my cell anywhere in the main database. Then go to View, Macros, Record Macro. I'll give any name here, say ADV underscore filters. I'm not going to give any shortcut key here because we are going to assign the macro to a button. And I'll just click on OK. Now the recording has started. So for doing advanced filter, I'll go to Data, Advanced. Make sure in the list range, the entire database is selected. And the criteria range for the timing, I select only department and R&D. Okay, that is D5 to D6. D5 to D6. Then click on OK. And you'll see all the R&D records are displayed. Now I need to stop the recording. This is very important. So I'll go to View, Macros, Stop Recording. If I don't do stop recording, what will happen? Even the future steps that I'm going to do will be recorded in the macro. Okay, we don't need that. Now the next step is I have already recorded the macro. Now I need to assign the macro to a button. So for drawing the button, I'll click on Developer. In Developer, you have one option called as Insert. When I click on the drop down of Insert, this will display two groups, Form Controls and ActiveX Controls. Okay. In Form Controls, I'll select the first option, that is for a button. Click on it, come back to the Excel sheet, and just click once again. Automatically, Excel will ask me which is the macro that you want to assign to this particular button. So I select Advanced Filters, click on OK. And you see your button has been displayed. I can also edit the button. I'll say Filters. Then to remove the selection, I'll just click anywhere outside and the selection will be removed. Okay. Now the macro that I recorded has been assigned to this particular button. Now, if I change the department here and then click on the button, you'll see that all the admin records are displayed. So you don't have to, again, you go to advanced filters and do the filtering. Change the department, click on this. Okay. I showed once again, you can do it along with me. First, you select the filter sheet. Keep your cell anywhere in the main database. We need to record a macro for advanced filters. So you click on View, Macros, Record Macro. Give any name here. No need to give a shortcut key. Just click on OK. First, you go to Data, Advanced. Make sure in the list range, the entire database is selected. And for the criteria, you select only department and the condition. D5 to D6. Click on OK. Then stop the recording. View, Macros, stop recording. Now we need to draw the button. Now the button should be ideally on the top. You don't keep it on the side here, because if you draw a button here on the side of the database, so when the database is filtered, even the button will get hidden. Okay. So make sure that you are drawing the button somewhere where it will not disturb the database. So click on Developer. Click on the drop-down of Insert. Select Form Controls. And just click. It will automatically draw the button. Select the macro which you want to assign. Click on OK. If you want to edit it, just click inside. And again, type in a text here.
Yes, sir. Working, sir. Working fine for everyone? Now, right now, it is displaying the records for finance, right? Now, suppose I type East. Now, if I click on, so I have the condition as Finance East. Now, if I click on press on this button, will it show me Finance East records? No, sir.
It won't, because the criteria we are selected only this. This has the range. So if I want it to display Finance East, I can go to the Visual Basic Editor and change the range there. How will you go to the Visual Basic Editor?
Alt F11.
Alt F11, perfect. Now, this is the advanced filters recording. Okay. Now you should see ideally only two lines. Only two lines are important here. These two lines which are selected, these are the only two lines we require for an advanced filter. If you have any extra lines, you can safely delete it. For example, here you see that I'm getting something like application cut copy mode false.
even if I select it and delete it, it won't make any difference. The main two lines are only this. If you are scrolling down when you record the macro, if you're using the mouse button or if you scroll down, you will get some additional steps. You can also remove that. Okay. You should have only two statements here. So what this primarily does is it takes the list range, that is the main database, A11 to H111, and it is asking to, it is doing an advanced filter on that. And we have something called as criteria range. And in the next statement, you have range D5 to D6. This range D5 to D6 is the criteria range. Tomorrow, suppose my range changes, I can come to this range and make it say E6. Now what will happen is when I run it, it is going to display finance East records. But every time I change the conditions in the Excel sheet, I don't want to come to this Visual Basic Editor and change the range here. It should automatically pick up the range. So what you do is, after this criteria range, you have this range statement. Select this range statement, including the cell addresses. Select only that and replace it with the word selection. That means whatever I select should be considered as a criteria. Okay, don't make any changes anywhere else. Just replace that range statement, range D5 to D6, with the word selection. Once I do this, I go back to the Excel sheet. Since I have given the word as selection, I need to select it first. So I'll select it, including the headers. So this is going to be my criteria, and click on press. And you'll see that it is displaying only finance East records. Suppose I select only region and East. Then click on this button. It will display all East records. So now my filtering was on the basis of my selection. Suppose I select only department and finance. It will display only finance records. If I select it like this, what does this display? All East records, but where the salary is between 10,000 to 20,000. So now my selection works. My filtering works according to my selection.
And sir, if we put instead of selection D5 to D7, will it work?
Even that will work. Even that will work. But every time you need to make the changes, right? Suppose after that, if I make change somewhere, yeah, I want to include this also, the criteria. So again, I need to go to Visual Basic Editor and make the changes. Now this here, it works dynamically.
Sir, one thing, suppose like here it is range like D to E or something.
Correct.
And you mentioned that we can replace the range with kind of selection, right? But suppose there is a word called finance here. If I want to specifically like we do in text, basically text function, we just type the finance as a selection. Can we do that as well here?
I didn't get you. That means if I type fine, if I type F,
if there is a selection, right? So if I write selection dot finance something like please select only finance word.
No, that won't work.
Will that work? Okay.
No, that won't.
Okay, fine.
Because we are telling that whatever is selected, you do the filtering on that. Okay. So whatever you write here, that will be the selection. Now if I type something like, let us say HR. Okay. Now this won't give me any records. So I can't have selection dot something. But I can say selection dot copy. Yeah.
Suppose in Alt F11 window, if you just go there. Yeah, so here it is a selection, right? So I just want to specifically Can someone go on mute? I think there is a background noise if not speaking. Thank you. So suppose if there is a selection and selection dot, if I put finance, right? So will that correlate it with finance, whatever?
No, it won't. It won't.
It won't. Okay.
Because selection is a property.
Okay.
Now I can do selection dot copy. So whatever is selected, suppose I select a range here. So this is also a selection.
Yes.
Right. So I can do selection dot copy. So it will copy only this much data. It can't identify with a value that is in your Excel sheet.
Okay. Okay.
It can work only with the object.
Okay.
So selection is basically a range. You can say range dot some value. That will not work.
Okay.
Yeah, Sujata.
Yeah, the thing is, along with the selection, can we have the count of the records that you have selected?
But then we need to use a function for that. So we can also call the Excel function into Visual Basic. Okay. So
can we try it out?
No, we'll be looking that later.
Okay.
Suppose for example, I will give you an example. Now, suppose I want the sum of the filtered records. Okay. Now you don't have a Visual Basic function to get the sum, or like you said, you want the count. Okay. So you don't have a Visual Basic function to count the records. But in Excel, we have a function for counting it, right? You can use count A, or you can use count if.
Yes.
You can use count ifs. So we can call the Excel function into Visual Basic also. Okay, that will see when we do the coding part.
Okay.
Right now we are not going into that.
Okay.
So this much is clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How is the pace? Is the pace okay? Am I going fast or slow? How is the pace? The pace is okay, everyone?
So it's perfect, sir.
Perfect.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So this was about the recording part. Okay. Now I'll give you a homework. Okay, before we move to the next topic. What I want all of you to do is, I want all of you to record a macro which will generate a pivot table. Okay, you can do it afterwards. I think our next class is on 11th, right? So you have 1 week, you can try on that. So what the macro should do is, when you run the macro, it should generate a pivot table like this. I'll just do it manually on the screen. Just remember, that is the sort of report that I want. So we have department wise salary. Okay. I just want a report like this. Department wise, first name and their salary region wise. So when you run the macro on this, you should generate a report like this. Okay. This will be your homework.
Okay.
I'll put it on the chat. Now you know that your program is a set of series of commands that is given to the system, right? What is the program? Program is a set of instructions or commands given to the system. A program can be classified into two types. That is something called as subroutines, and you also have something called as functions. Now the main difference, both are collection of programming statements. A subroutine is also a collection. A function is also a collection of programming statements. But the way they work is different. The main difference between a subroutine and a function is that functions will always return a value. Now functions will always return a value means what? Suppose I'm using a sum function. Suppose I have some values. If I want to get the sum of this, we are using a function called as sum, right? Now here you will notice that when I'm using a function called as sum, it is always returning some value. The value will be either the sum that you want, or it can be an error also, right? For example, when you're using a VLOOKUP, you will either get the result that you want, or you will get a NA. So even NA is a value returned by the function. It is an error. That is the only difference, is that it is an error. So either you will get the result that you want, or it can be an error also. So functions will always return a value, whereas subroutines do not return a value. That is the main difference between a subroutine and a function. Functions will always have arguments. Arguments means what? Suppose I'm using a VLOOKUP function. The moment I type VLOOKUP, I'll get some list here. Lookup value, table array, column index number, range lookup. These are called as the arguments of the VLOOKUP function. So every function should have at least one argument. Okay. If you don't specify the correct number of arguments, the function is going to return an error. But ideally, in a subroutine, we don't specify any arguments. We can have arguments in a subroutine also, but it is not mandatory. It is optional. But for a function, arguments are mandatory. Okay. Then functions are cell-based. Cell-based means what? You call a function in a cell, in a single cell. But subroutines are object-based. We'll come to what are objects later in the program. For the time being, just remember that subroutines are written for objects, for manipulating objects. Visual Basic is called as a object-oriented programming language. In short, it is called as OOP. Everything in Visual Basic is defined as an object. The Excel application itself is an object. So it is in a hierarchy. So first you have the Excel application. Then you have workbooks. Then you have worksheets. Worksheets or sheets. Then you have ranges. Then you have cells. So all these are called as objects. So what you do in subroutines is you manipulate these objects. For example, if you want to add a sheet, you don't write a function for that. You write a subroutine for that. So it will add an object, add a sheet, delete a sheet. So any actions that you want to do on the objects are written in a subroutine. But suppose I want to do a particular functionality. Suppose I want to do a tax calculation. Then we need to write a function for that. Suppose I want to calculate the HRA, suppose I want to calculate the TA based on a percentage, then we need to write a function for that because it is cell based. Okay. We'll go into this objects later in the program, but just to give a brief idea, subroutines are object oriented. You can also write functions in Visual Basic. Now you know that there are many functions in Excel, but we can also write our own functions in Excel. Those are called as user-defined functions. So user-defined functions are nothing but customized functions. It is also called as UDF. Okay. So we can also create our user-defined functions. Functions always begin with the keyword function, name of the function, and the arguments. And you specify the statements here, program statements. And they end with end function. Now you don't have to type this end function. The moment you give a function name and press enter, this end function will automatically come. Okay. Subroutines always begin with the word sub and then name of the macro and you have the program statements here. And then end sub. So even in this case, the end sub will automatically come. Okay. Now what you'll do is you will write some UDFs. Okay. Now in Excel, you have a function for getting the sum of numbers, right? You have a sum function. Likewise, do you have a function which will give me the difference between two values? Do you have a function called as subtract? Yes. Yeah. You have a function called as subtract. Suppose I want the difference between two values. Say 125 and 25. Do you have a function called as subtract? Yes. You don't have it. Suppose I want the difference between two numbers. What I do is I select it, then use the operator minus sign, and then get the value. You don't have a function called as subtract. Like you have a function called as sum. You don't have a function called as subtract. You don't have a function called as division. Use the operator, this division symbol. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll write a function called as subtract. So go to the Visual Basic Editor. Now from now on, we'll be looking at the coding part. Okay. Go to the Visual Basic Editor. We are going to write this functions, UDF functions, in a new module. Okay. So when you're in the Visual Basic Editor, click on Insert, Insert, Module. This is one method. Or you can also right click on any module and select Insert. Even that will work. Okay, you can use whichever method is convenient for you. The moment I select Insert Module, you'll see one more module appearing here in the Project Explorer, Module 3. We can also rename it. Now, when you develop your own programs, you might either record it or you might also write the code for that. So obviously there is going to be multiple modules. Okay. So module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4. Now suppose you have recorded a module, let us say module 1, and you have say 50 modules, and you want to make some changes in say module 1, or maybe changes in module 10, or maybe in a specific subroutine. Now, since you have 50 modules, you might not know that particular subroutine in where you want to make the changes is in which module. Because a module can have multiple subroutines. In a module, I can have hundreds of subroutines. And if I want to make any changes in the 50th subroutine, I need to scroll to all the other subroutines and then make the changes. So instead of that, when you are writing a new program or doing a new task, it is always better to do it in a new module, just to compartmentalize it. Okay, it doesn't make any change, any effect to the program or the Visual Basic, even if you put hundreds of subroutines in a single module, or you have hundreds of modules, it doesn't make any difference to the application. It is just for our convenience that we put it in different modules. Now, even if you put it in different modules, this can be very confusing. Module 1, module 2, module 3, the name can be confusing. So we can also rename the modules. So for example, the first module that I recorded was of letterhead. So what I can do is I can select that module 1, go to the properties window. You have property called as name property. So I can change the module name from here. Okay, so I will name it as say recording basics or basic recording. Basic _ recording. Even all the rules that I apply for subroutine names apply here also. You can't have a space. It should be no function name, and it should not begin with a numerical value. So you'll see that in the modules also the name has changed. Instead of module 2, I can have it as, let us say, reports. Then module 3, we'll name it as user defined functions. Okay. Or you can just simply name it as UDF. Okay, I changed the wrong module. This was reports. And module 3 will be UDF. Okay. Now we are going to write a function for subtracting. So function should always begin with the name function. Then name of the function. We'll name it as subtract. Subtract function takes two arguments, value 1 and value 2. These are the arguments of the function. Now, the moment I press enter, this end function will automatically come. You don't have to type it. Now, all the programming statements should be written inside this function name and the end function. Okay, just a moment. There is somebody at the door. Okay, I'm back. So all the programming statements should be written inside this function and the end function, or it will give an error. Okay. Now, what should our function do? This function should give me the difference between value 1 and value 2. Don't worry about the spacing. Visual Basic will automatically apply the spacing for it. So we have written a function for subtract. Now let us see if it works. Save the file first. Come back to the Excel sheet. You can try this in a blank sheet. First, I will enter some random values. The header doesn't make any difference. Okay. Type some random values. Now, how will you call a function? Suppose I want to call a VLOOKUP function. We write equal to VLOOKUP. Likewise, if I want to call the subtract function, I say equal to sub. And the moment I write sub, we'll see that automatically it has come in the drop down. First argument will be this. Second argument is going to be this. So we have written a function, our own function, known as subtract. So these functions are called as UDF. This is not a part of your Excel application, right? We have written it. Getting this, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now what we'll do is we'll write one more function called as vote. What that function should do is it should check whether a particular person is eligible for voting or not. Now we are not going to do it, write it in a new module. We'll continue in the same module because it is all UDF, same topic. So how do you do that? Just keep your cursor after the end function and type the new function name. Function will call it as vote, and it takes only one argument, that is the age. Now the moment I press enter, automatically you get a divider line like this. So this separates these two functions. The moment you get a divider line, that means you are starting a new program. Okay. The moment you write function name, arguments, enter, that divider line will automatically come. Now, how do you determine whether a particular person is eligible for voting, you look at the age, right? So for that, I'll use a statement if age is greater than or equal to 18, then voting will be eligible. Else means if it is less than 18, then voting will be not eligible. Then end if. Now, when you give a normal if function in Excel, we have a closing bracket. Sorry, we have an opening bracket and a closing bracket, right? So that tells Excel that this particular function has started from here and it has ended from there. Now, how do you specify that ending and the starting position? If and with a end if. So end if means it tells Excel or Visual Basic that that particular functionality has ended here. Okay, don't look for that functionality after that end if. So every if has to be ended with the end if. Okay, so let us apply this. I'll take the same values here, which I got for the results. Here we'll have one more heading as voting rights. Okay, and how will you call it? Equal to vote. It takes only one argument, that is the age. Done, everyone? Any doubts, any difficulties till now? Komal, Roni, Jay. Jay, you are getting this?
Yeah, you are getting this, but the thing is, the calling of that subroutine is the name which we are giving, right? Is equal to subtract is equal to vote. The name which are giving the function name is what
the function name, and where you are saving it, that should be same.
Okay.
The result should be same. The result where you are saving that result, that name should be same.
Okay.
Or it will name error.
Yes, sir, I'm getting it.
Okay, fine. Now, when you have a single condition, we can use if, else, and if. But when you have multiple conditions, then we can use two structures which can check for multiple conditions. Okay. So these are called as conditional statements. If you want to do some calculations based on a condition, these are called as conditional statements. If you're using a if, that means it is a conditional statement. Now there are two structures which can be used here. If you have a single condition, you can write it as if condition is true, then some programming statement else some other programming statement. And then we'll have a end if. Right. This is if you have a single condition. But if you have multiple conditions, there are two structures which can be used here. One is you can say if condition 1 is true, then some programming statement is if condition 2 is true, then some other programming statement like this can go on continuing. Else, again if, but in this case, you are writing this else and the conditions on different lines. So if you are writing it like this, then the number of end ifs should match the number of ifs. So I have 3 ifs here. So I need to use 3 times end if. If anything else and the conditions on different lines. But if I use it in the same line, then only one end if is enough.
Else is working as an or.
Correct. Or
okay.
This or that condition. Correct. Or else I have one more structure. I can say if condition 1 is true, then some programming statement. And here I'll write else if condition 2 is true. Else if is a single word. Okay. Else if condition true, then some other programming statement. So if I use a structure like this, then only one end if is enough for any number of else ifs. So I can again have else if condition 3 is true, then some programming statement, then put one end if. Okay, these are two structures that is available for you if you want to check multiple conditions. Okay.
So I have one question. Like I was trying to do change the name in the Project Explorer using the property windows, but it is giving me the error that you cannot change. So can you please repeat the process once again so you can understand?
No, you can't have spaces in the name. So select the module whose name you want to change. Click on the properties window. There is a name property and just type the name, any name that you want. But make sure that it doesn't have any space.
Spaces.
You can have underscore, but no space, no function name, and should not begin with a numerical value. Also, the subroutine name and the module name should not be same. Everything is unique.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Maybe spacing.
For example, if you have correct. For example, if you have the subroutine name as letterhead, you can't have the letterhead as a module name also. Okay. It should be different.
Okay. Got it. And the changes, the functions which you are doing, like the subtract one, the vote one, you're working on it on UDF module, am I right?
Correct. UDF. The same module. Because this is a one topic, one common topic. So I'm putting it in the same module.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the two structures that is available for checking multiple conditions. Now, I want all of you to write a function which will calculate the tax I'll give you the slabs, the conditions. You try to write a program on your own. Okay. We'll call it as the tax calculation. The tax function should take only one argument, that is a gross. Okay, we are checking on the gross. If gross is less than or equal to 2.5 lakhs, then tax will be 0. Okay. If gross is between 2.5 lakhs and 5 lakhs, then tax equal to 10% of gross minus 2.5 lakhs. If it is between 5 lakhs to 8 lakhs, then tax will be 20% of gross minus 5 lakhs plus okay, these are the conditions. So I want you to write a function which will calculate the tax according to these conditions. If you want, I can explain how this should be calculated. I can give you the logic, but I want you to write the program yourselves. You want me to explain how the tax is calculated? I think most of you will be already familiar with the calculation, but if you want, I can explain it. You want me to explain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now the first one, it is fairly simple, right? If the gross is less than or equal to 2.5 lakhs, then tax will be 0. Now the second condition, let us say this is the first one. The second condition, let us say the gross is 3 lakhs. If the gross is 3 lakhs, then I can break the 3 lakhs into 2.5 lakhs plus 0.5 lakhs. On the first 2.5 lakhs, the tax is going to be 0, right? But on the second, that is 0.5 lakhs, it should be calculated as 10%, 10% of gross minus 2.5 lakhs. So this should give me 0 plus 10 lakhs, 10% of 3 minus 2.5, that is 50,000, will be 5,000. So this should give me the tax as 5,000. Okay. Now the second condition, third condition. Sorry. the third condition. Suppose the gross is 6 lakhs. I can break 6 lakhs as 2.5 lakhs plus 2.5 lakhs plus 1 lakh. On the first 2.5 lakhs, the tax is going to be 0. But on the second 2.5 lakhs, it should be calculated as 10% of that particular amount, that is 25,000. Plus on the remaining 1 lakh, it should be calculated as 20% of 1 lakh. So this should give me 25,000 plus 20,000, that is 45,000. Okay. Now the fourth condition, suppose the gross is 9 lakhs. I can break 9 lakhs as 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 3 plus 1. On the first 2.5 lakhs, tax will be 0. On the second 2.5 lakhs, at the rate of 10%. On the 3 lakhs, 20%, that is 60,000, plus on the remaining 1 lakh, 30%. 30% of 1 lakh. So this should give me 85,000 plus 30,000, right? Plus 30,000. So that will be 1,15,000. Can you try this? If you want, I will copy it on the chat. Can you try this, everyone?
Sure, sir. Sir, and one more thing, and how to create a fresh module where you can practice this coding?
If you want to insert a module, you click on Insert. When you're in the Visual Basic Editor, click on Insert and click on Module. Or you can also right-click on any module and select Insert. Even that will work. This function should take only one argument, that is gross. We'll call it as, say, IND. IND stands for India. India underscore tax. You can give any name. I'm giving the name as. Now I want you to write the program. I'll give it 10 minutes. Okay. Hello, working fine, everyone? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Okay, fine. It is working fine, everyone?
For me, somewhere it's
It's trying, sir.
Yeah. Okay. You can share your screen also if you want. If anyone wants to share the screen, you can check for any other side. I'll copy paste it on the chat also. Sujata, working fine?
I am getting the error as compile error sub or function not defined.
No. We need to write this in a function. Don't use a subroutine. If you want, you can share your screen. You want to share your screen?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Yeah, Ronit. Any difficulty?
Not on this one, Amodi, but I have a doubt on it. Currently, the else if condition what we are putting is that it should be less than 5 lakhs, then it will calculate the gross minus
5
lakhs. What if I want to put a condition would be that more than 2.5 lakh and less than 5 lakh? How should I phrase it?
Then use the AND function. Cross.
I tried earlier using that. I'm getting error on that using AND.
You need to write. I'll just write it on the screen. Just check whether you have written it correctly. It will be if gross greater than 2.5 lakhs, because we are calculating for equal to 2.5 lakhs in the earlier condition. So it will be greater than 2,50,000. And again, you need to write gross less than equal to 5 lakhs. And then. If you write gross greater than 2.5 lakhs and then you write less than 5 lakhs, it is going to give error. Yes, Sujata, you can share your screen.
Yeah, I have shared it. Where did I commit mistake? Is it underscore I missed?
I can't see your screen.
You can't. Now? Are you able to see my screen?
No. What about others? Are you able to see Sujata's screen? Anyone?
No.
No, it is not displayed. You need to click on that. Next to that mic button, you have a share option. You click on share.
Open
and select
share tray, right?
Screen. Click on screen.
Okay, I need to select the
Select screen and then click on OK.
Is that okay? Are you able to see now?
Now it is. Yeah, now it is getting displayed. Function IND tags gross. No, see here. You have written else if gross is less than 5 lakhs, then Indian tax is 10%, that is fine. But in the next statement, else if gross is less than 8 lakhs, then you have not written any calculation there.
Okay.
Right. Again, you need to write int tax equal to 20%, 20 divided by 100. And one more thing is that in one statement you have given IND space tax. In another you have given IND underscore tax. Okay. So make the correction there also. Underscore, it is underscore, not a hyphen. No. Correct, perfect. Even here, you make it an underscore. Then 20%. Yeah, now I think it should work. But before you run it, can you say that function name is getting highlighted, right?
Yes.
So that has to be removed. So what you do is, can you see on the top of that, on the toolbar, you have a play button. Yeah, just click on reset. That is correct. You click on reset. Again, I think there is a, it is again space. No, there is a space there. After else, you have written that int tax with a space.
Okay.
Last statement, yes, correct. Again, you click on reset, that stop button. No, that is a play button. Stop button. Click on reset. No, click on that.
This one, right?
Yeah, that one, right. Click on that. Correct. Now you go back to the Excel sheet. Save the file. Go back to the Excel sheet. Are you in the Excel sheet?
Yeah, yes.
Type some random gross values.
That I have done. Is that screen is not visible to you?
The screen is not visible because
Yeah,
I think you have selected window. Instead of screen, you must have selected window. That is why we can see only the active window.
Okay.
But fine, you are getting the values, right?
Yes, I am getting.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I stop the sharing now.
Thank you.
And Ronit, it is working fine?
Yes, Amardeep. I have one more question in this. So function, for the three functions which you have created, for that, for subtract, we use value. For vote, we use age. And for the third one, we use gross. So
Correct.
how do you came to know, like, for this, shouldn't be using number in place of gross? Will it be giving the same value?
Yeah, it will give the same value. We are giving a meaningful name so that when you run the function, you know that this particular argument is for getting the gross. Even if I replace this gross with num, it won't make any difference. But if you are coming back to the same program, say after 6 months or 1 year to make any changes, then you will be confused why this num was used. Right? So it is just for our convenience. For the program, it doesn't make any difference. I can also write it as ABC. It won't make any difference to the program. I can write it like this. But when you come back to the same, today the logic is very fresh in your mind. You can calculations, understand everything. But suppose to come back to the same function, say after 1 year, and you want to make some changes here. At that time, you may not remember that why this ABC was defined. So always give meaningful names, even for yourself as well as for any other person who is going to read your code. Even he should be able to understand easily why this particular argument was used.
Okay, so the first one, value one, which you have mentioned there. So you can put anything there.
Anything. You can also type it as A, comma B. It won't make any difference.
So I thought it is name sensitive. That's why you're putting value
No,
there.
No. It is not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, I would like to share my screen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Just let me know once you can see.
No, it is not visible.
Oh.
No, it is not visible.
Okay, one second.
Click on share. Click on screen.
Yeah, I'm just trying. Is it now?
Now it is coming. Yeah. Now it is visible. Yeah.
So suppose this is the function. So what I did mistake, I written here else if, and it was not accepting. When I saw your code, it was not there. So when I put else, it has automatically taken this semicolon sign. So just want to understand that in the last, why we are not writing else if?
That is because one thing is, when you're displaying a value, you don't have to put it in quotes. You are written 0 in quotes, right? That is not needed.
Where?
You can directly write it. If gross is less than 2.5 lakhs, then tax equal to 0. That 0 is in double quotes, right? You don't have to put a quote if you are displaying a numerical value. The quote has to be there only for text values. Like you can see eligible, that is in a quote. Okay. Now, let us say the gross is not less than 2.5 lakhs. Okay. Then if it is not less than 2.5 lakhs, it can be any number that is above 2.5 lakhs, right? It can be 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs. Now we are assuming that if it is not less than 2.5 lakhs, it should be less than 5 lakhs. If it is not less than 5 lakhs, it should be less than 8 lakhs. Now, if none of these conditions are satisfied, that means the gross has to be more than 8 lakhs. Right? So again, I don't have to write it. Else if gross is more than 8 lakhs, then do the calculation. I can directly put it in a else.
Okay.
Because whatever you put it in else will be carried out only if none of the conditions above are getting satisfied.
Okay, so else if is basically continuation of the condition.
Continuation of the conditions. So here also I can use else if, but here I need to rate it as else if tax is greater than 8 lakhs, then do the same calculation.
Okay.
I can do it like this, but there is no need, because if none of these above conditions are satisfied, that means the gross has to be more than 8 lakhs. So we can put it in else. So else is if none of the conditions above works, then whatever is given in the else, that part will work.
Okay, and suppose
now
if
I
want
write,
to run it.
Now you save the file first, Control S.
Yeah.
Come back to the Excel sheet.
Excel. Yeah.
You type some random gross values. Any
Say
values.
Suppose 9 lakh, because we know the tax is 1,15,000.
Correct.
So
correct.
let's see. Yeah.
Go to the now. Go to the next column. J column. J.
Yeah.
Equals. What is your function name? IND tax, right? IND.
No,
just have IND. Given a different name.
Tax. Yeah. I have
okay.
given
Then tax. No. You need to press a tab, not enter.
Tax.
Equal to tax.
And then tab.
Open bracket. And select that 9 lakhs. 9 lakhs. Close the bracket, enter. Come back to the, I think there is some error in the statement. Tax, function tax, process tax is 0.
Else if.
You don't put that double colon. You take that in the next line. Else, remove that double colon. Enter. Press enter. Tax equal to 30%. Now you save the file. Again, run it. You have saved it as a Excel macro enabled workbook, right?
Yeah, it's the same. This acro, this one, right?
Excel SM. Okay, now you do one thing. Go to macro security. Developer macro security. Enable all macros. Click on OK. Save the file. Close it. Again reopen it. Save the file. Close it. Again reopen it.
This is macro enabled, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, macro enabled one. No.
Right.
Or the other case may be, since you have multiple Excel sheets open, you must have written that function in a different workbook and you are trying to run it in a different workbook. Okay, just check it now. Equal to tax. Okay, I think because there are multiple sheets. Can you go back to the Visual Basic Editor again?
Okay.
1 minute. On the properties window, can you scroll up? Scroll up.
Here?
No, on the Project Explorer, yeah. Okay, now scroll down. Just check whether you have one more module open. No, it is not that. User-defined function.
This is this
Function
one.
tags. Tags.
I think that gross is not defined.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You have not
After
defined
tax,
the gross. Yeah, you have not defined gross in the argument part. Function tags in the open bracket. There you write gross.
Okay.
Yeah. I also missed that. And now you save the file. Now you try to run it. It should work. Open bracket.
80.
Yeah, perfect. But why 80,000? For 9 lakhs, it should give me
150.
30 by 100. No, plus 50. It should be 85. That will be 85,000. Instead of 50,000, the last statement.
Okay, yeah.
That should be 85,000.
Can I just refresh it? No.
Yeah, F9. Press F9. F9. Function key F9. Tax. No, tax, then open the bracket. Tax, open bracket. Perfect.
So it worked. Yep. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Now, as I told you earlier, these are called as user-defined functions, right? Now, suppose I want to see the list of functions available in Excel. One method is you click on this FX on the formula bar, or you can also press Shift F3. Shift F3 will display the window like this, which will display all the functions that can be used in Excel. You know that all these functions are classified into different categories, right? If I click on the drop down here, and if I select all, it is going to display all the functions. If I select financial, it will display only financial functions. Likewise, date and time will display only the date and time functions. Likewise, all the functions that we created will be stored in a category called as user defined. So if I click on this user defined, we'll see the list of functions that we had created. Okay, vote, subtract, and tax. It is stored in a separate category. So we started today with the advanced filters, right? Then we saw subtotals. Then we started with the basic recording. Then Then we saw how to assign macro to a button. Right. Then we saw UDF. Now I think the next is on 11th, right? 4/11, yes. That is day 2. In day 2, we look at some basic statements. That is for coding. Then we'll see, we'll write a program called as data entries. They'll be looking at loops. We'll do a VLOOKUP using macros. Then data consolidation. Then error handling. I'm just writing all the topics that we need to cover in this 16 hours of training. Okay. Then we'll see, we will separate it by day wise. So error handling, then cross application macros. User forms. And finally, assign it. So these are the topics that we need to cover in this 16 hours of training. Okay. Now in the filter sheet, we have seen how the macro can be assigned to a button. Now it is also possible to assign the macro to a shape. If I want to assign a macro to a shape, I'll go to insert, shapes. You can select any shape from here. And I can also assign the macro to this particular shape. Now, how do you assign a macro to this particular shape? I can just right click on this. Right click, assign macro. And suppose I want to assign the macro called as letterhead. Okay. Now, if I click on this, it is going to run that particular macro. Okay. So you can also assign the macro to a button or a shape that is going to work. Any doubts, any difficulties, the topic that we have covered?
Hi Amardeep, I have one quick question. On the developer side, under the insert button, so there are two controls. So I'm often confused with controls, like form control and active control. So can you please help me to differentiate them?
See, form control says controls which are drawn on the sheet, but ActiveX controls require a programming for that. Suppose I select ActiveX controls and draw it. Now, if I click on this, it is going to do anything because we need to write a program behind this. So how do you write a program? You just double click on this and it will open a code window, and then you need to write some program here. For example, let us say I say message box welcome. So for active control to work, you need to have a program associated with it. So I can double click this and I'll click on this and it is going to 1 minute. And it will display the program like this. So here you need to have a program associated with the button. But in the earlier case, in the form controls, You don't need to have a program. You can just assign a program to that particular button.
So I think it is more advisable to use the button side so that it can be used in any sheets. Like you can drop the button and assign any macro saved in your
Correct,
module.
correct. But in this case, you need to write a program for that in the ActiveX controls.
Thanks.
Okay. So, any other doubts? Any queries?
Another request, due to some network issue at my side, there was I missed some of the content. So can I have recorded session link so that I can refer later on?
No, you will be getting the recording of this particular session.
Okay.
I think the recording by, let me check. Prabhas. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Prabhas. Yeah.
I would like to reply that. No problem. So, friends, you will be getting the recordings by another 2 hours time with your respective email IDs. The link will be forwarded. Along with one link will be forwarded in the group also. So in case you have not received, I don't think it will be happening, but in the worst case, if you have not received the link over email, you can also have the same in the group. No problem.
Thanks, Prabhas.
No problem. That's fine. So I believe the things are clear. I mean, the way we have carried out the session, it is reaching to you, are able to connect with your data. So these are the things, I mean, where you are committing the silly errors or mistake or the other way to taking it around. So you are getting the right path.
Yes, sir. Surely, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. And two things, Amar, I would like to check with you if you can enlighten upon the same. One is about when we are searching the text cases, like can we use some wildcards as a prefix or suffix?
In the advanced filters?
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be done.
Right. So those things, I mean, in the day 3, probably you can give a at least quick, run through for the people. It will be really great how to use the wildcards. If it is our part of curriculum, well and good. But if it is not there, you please guide them. This is one.
Yeah.
And second thing, since we have got icons in Office 365 and 2019 and 2021 versions, can we assign a macro to a icon?
Icon in the sense you are importing the icon from
No. Yeah, you go to
which
any
icons?
you go to any Excel file that what you have created the shape but as a button. You go to that Excel file where you created a command button. Yeah, there you go to insert instead of going for developer. If you go to insert, ideally we go for shapes and all. We connect with that, right? So instead that there was an icons, it is added. You can see next to the shapes icons is there because that is having the vector icons and it will be adding more beauty to the dashboards or anything we create.
That is what I said. The icon has to be imported from the net and then it can be assigned. Then the macro can be assigned to that.
Right. So those things also, you can give a guidance at the day 4. That will be really great. This is one request from my side.
Yeah.
All right, friends, any other doubts or queries? If you have or anything is missing or lacking, you need to incorporate in the rest of the sessions. You are having the freedom to express your view. No problem. We'll try our best to incorporate.
Yes, anyone? Yeah, Sujata.
Surely, sir. Will.
Under Dave said there is an IT problem that has been updated to the new Excel version. So which Excel version you are using? Because I cannot see that.
Because I am using Office 365. Suppose you want to find out what is the Excel version that you are using. What you do is you go to File. There will be an option called as Account Info. File, Accounts. There you can see the version. Click on File, Account.
Yeah, it's to 2016.
2016?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, as far as the Excel versions are concerned, there is very little difference to the Visual Basic statements. if you're using 2013 or 2016, or if you're using 2007, if you're using 2007, you will see that the interface in 2007 and in 2010 is different, totally different, right? But as far as the Visual Basic statements are concerned, there is very little difference to the statements. So whatever works in 2013 should very well work in 2016 or 2019 or even Office 365. Okay, so that shouldn't make any difference. Not much difference, I should say. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. So I want all of you to do that homework, generation of the pivot table. And if you have any doubts, I hope that all of you will practice what you have learned today in that week's times. And if you are getting any difficulties or any queries, you can always put it in the group and I will look into that. Fine?
Thanks. Thank
Sure,
you.
sir.
Fine with everyone? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.